Hello everybody, this is Stephen Whitfield with Drilling Contractor. I'm here at Maersk Training's facility in Houston, Texas. Now, 10 years ago, DC visited this place as it opened to talk about some of the things that it had on offer at that time. And now we're back here again, as Maersk Training has installed a host of new simulator technologies designed to push training into a new frontier. We're going to speak with representatives from Maersk Training about those technologies and specifically how those technologies can help advance training in the MPD space. We're also going to talk with Maersk Training and representatives from Weatherford about a recently announced partnership the two companies had in which they are offering the full suite of IADC accredited MPD training. This is the first time that the full suite has been made globally available. So, check it out. Well, we're here at Maersk Training with Guilherme Lopes Silveira, oil and gas lead for Maersk Training. Now, we're going to talk a bit about some of these simulators that we saw here on our tour of the facility. There was a lot of really cool stuff, and we want to get sort of a little bit more information for the viewers out there about what they're offering here today. So, Guilherme, thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, thanks for having me here today. Hope I can have a good time in here together.
Oh, I hope so too. So when we were here 10 years ago, you guys had opened, and obviously over the course of 10 years, technology has changed so much, and we saw so many different simulators here. Can you talk about some of the things that you guys have done recently that you guys have here on offer?
Sure. So what happened there over this past 10 years in here is that we not only the simulators have changed over time, the industry has changed. Specifically the MPD, it is an evolving industry, evolving technology. So we've learned with that. So our simulators, what we changed from 10 years ago, it is to integrate the simulators we currently had before to the new Weatherford MPD technologies in here and having the updates. So being able to combine drilling simulator with an MPD simulator together with the expertise the MPD providers do it, it's what makes the big change there in the industry. So we're able to provide not only a simulator that is realistic, but is exactly what the students will face in the work site.
Interesting you bring up the MPD part of this. So specifically from an MPD perspective, how do these simulator offerings that you have, you talk about it being realistic, but how are you incorporating MPD specifically within these simulator offerings to sort of provide a better training experience?
Sure, that's part of our curriculum. There is one piece of that is the technology, the simulators itself. But we're really looking here to bring out the components, the human components that will make the use of the simulator be more capable and more touching for the students. So we bring the MPD providers, we bring the customer, we have the drilling specialists, and everybody working together with the simulator is what is going to provide the business value there, where the student can get out of here feeling that there's a very little gap to cover whenever they get to the rigs. So that's our goal in here, to have everybody integrating the technology part, but also the human aspect in here, how to make the job happen.
It's interesting you bring up the human aspect of this, because a lot of times when we go visit training facilities, you know, it's the technical side of training is critical, but then there's also the human side. Do you find that, like, when it comes to sort of whatever you might have to address within the MPD specifically, how important is the human factor side of that when it comes to the training?
It's extremely important. We are working with very high-end technologies in there, but they're not necessarily all integrated in this world that we live with AI, with machine learning. We still rely big part of these integrations there in the human. So that's why it's very important to bring the humans, the crew, the staff that comes in here to understand what technology they're using and how to make that integration there. We see that MPD in the field specifically, most of the learning parts and the challenges that we have, they rely back to human factors. So it's important not only the technology aspect of it, but also the human factor component that goes with it.
Okay, so what's the feedback been with everybody coming out here, the training? I'm sure it's been pretty positive.
It has been fantastic so far. So Every time the students come in here, we try to customize, make it flexible, the course content, so to make us as realistic as possible to the scenario that they're involved in. So there are different rigs, different technologies they do it, and we try to make it as realistic as possible for them so they can have the learning from us.
Well, Guilherme, thank you so much for giving us a little bit of an insight on what you guys are offering here. We appreciate it.
It was a pleasure having you here.
So we're now here with Andrew Galbreath, Head of Commercial for North America at Maersk Training, and we're going to be speaking here about the partnership that Maersk Training and Weatherford recently announced, offering the full suite of IADC accredited MPD training courses, the first entity to have that offering available globally. We'll talk about that from the Maersk Training perspective. We'll also talk about it from the Weatherford perspective too, but let's talk to Andrew first. So Andrew, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for your time.
Well, we appreciate you having us out here. Let's talk first about getting involved in this partnership. Why get involved in this partnership with Weatherford?
So when we look at the capabilities that Maersk Training have, we are probably one of the world leaders in our simulation capability. We have a lot of excellent course material, great instructors, but we don't necessarily have the actual hardware, the technology, and the software from the MPD side of things. So our partnership with Weatherford allows them to use their world-leading MPD equipment, software, and expertise, and marriage it with the Maersk Training capabilities to really create a world-leading training program.
So when you talk about marrying those two sides together, what specifically do you mean? Do you mean integrating their systems with your simulators? What do you mean there?
So there's multiple levels. We started with actual course development. So we shared course material to make sure that we had the latest information from what was happening in the industry, and that we utilized our expertise in generating that course material to come up with the course material that we would ultimately go through for accreditation. In addition to that, you have our capabilities of putting the software systems that Weatherford has and running their actual software and HMIs that the guys on the rig will see through our simulator, so we can create a fully immersive type of experience that is showing the actual equipment, software, and people that'll be used on the rig.
And of course, this is the first instance of the full suite of IADC accredited training being available globally. Yep. So the importance of having that full suite, what would you say that importance is?
So we see this as an unbelievably important part of the industry, because industry is really calling out for that ability to have the accredited nature of the course. They understand that MPD can be a high-risk activity. It's still seen as a new activity in certain extents, but the industry is asking for someone to come out and look at a solid level of that. So now that we have all three levels of that, we can take that to industry, we can go around the world with it, and we can deliver that in multiple different countries.
Well, Andrew, thank you for taking the time. Thank you for having us out here. We appreciate it.
Absolutely, I appreciate it for your time too.
So we are here at Maersk Training with Zach Mahlum, VP of MPD at Weatherford, and we're going to be speaking about the Weatherford-Maersk Training partnership on MPD training from a Weatherford perspective here. So Zach, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks, Stephen. Excited to be here and chat with you a bit.
So let's talk, I mean, we've talked from the Maersk Training side about sort of the offerings here, but from the Weatherford side, how do you see this partnership on providing the full IADC accredited course of MPD training? How do you see this helping prepare personnel for working on managed pressure wells?
Sure. Thanks for the question, Stephen. And all this partnership doesn't focus directly on managed pressure wells. We see this as the global adoption of the MPD story. And as we see this accelerated growth globally, we truly see a need in the industry to ensure that the people out there executing these operations are trained, competent, and ready to execute.
So we've been here at Maersk Training looking at a whole bunch of simulators, and the one question I haven't really asked yet, and I'll ask you this,
Sure.
is how do you see simulator-based training differentiating from traditional MPD training?
Sure. Certainly the hands-on practical training certainly plays a key element in the overall growth of MPD adoption, but the drilling the well on simulator is an excellent opportunity to really take that execution to the next level. And so having this immersive training partnership with Maersk Training actually allows us to simulate real well conditions in real time to be able to prepare the crews for whatever obstacles they might encounter.
So lastly, I guess the question I would have here is who benefits most from this training?
Sure, 100%. So really, obviously, the rig crew having their hands-on training gains really, truly valuable skills. But the end result is the operator has a well that's drilled more efficiently, safer, and on budget. And in addition to that, we're really seeing us being able to tailor these applications to specific wells or development campaigns relevant to the customer's needs.
Well, Zach, thank you so much for providing the Weatherford perspective. We've had a lot of the Maersk training perspective, so it's great to hear the Weatherford perspective on this too. We appreciate it.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Stephen.
So I'd like to thank Guilherme, Andrew, and Zach for taking time out to speak with us about everything going on here at Maersk Training. From the Maersk Training Facility in Houston, Texas, this is Stephen Whitfield. Thank you for visiting drillingcontractor.org.